Yeah, I really did notice the difference in football sounds and from space to space. That's cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so this is definitely one of those. So this is kind of like a mock exhibition hall. Upstairs, there's a couple of boardrooms. We've got speakers up here. Something that actually, Dirk, while I'm going to put something up on the screen as part of this demo, do you want to maybe use the podium and show off some translation? Let's show these folks, these new folks, something cool. So, hey, how's everybody doing? I'm gonna move this camera over here. Now we can. Yeah, there we go. A new angle that no one's ever seen before.
So it's a really big live video, so you can respond live to me. Raise your hand.
That's right. Yeah, right here.
There we go. So that's something that we can do, and then I'm assuming also you can share your screen from your computer if you want to share other things rather than live video.
There we go.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you can share presentations, basically all the things that you would do in a normal event, a normal podium event, yeah?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, and then
so are there any things that you can do in this? Are there any things that you can do in this kind of environment that you can't do in a live podium event? I mean, at the risk of there we go, drawing on the surface. That's cool.
not a lot of live events have a whiteboard that you can just start drawing on, or that people can collaborate on. So, for instance, David, if you click on that whiteboard, you can draw on the whiteboard as well.
Really?
So this is audience participation whiteboard.
Oh, okay, wait a minute.
Yeah, see?
Yeah.
Look at that.
But let's see if the cursive works.
Cursive? Are you using a mouse for that?
I'm using a trackpad.
Amazing.
There we go.
Amazing. Look at that. So that's pretty awesome. That's pretty neat. And then same thing with like a live presentation. We can also do things like we can share video.
We may have just found the future of marketing. Let's talk about the metaverse.
Metaverse. The metaverse.
Metaverse is an open world digital environment filled with virtual characters. All
pretty cool.
Yes. That's awesome. So what if you were dealing with now, given that unlike most events, you're going to be dealing with people from anywhere in the world potentially can log into this one. Well, how do you deal with the language barrier?
Absolutely. So we've actually implemented a tool with the help of some of our partners that does live translation. So Dirk is here with us, and Dirk is a native German speaker and also speaks a couple of other languages. Dirk, do you want to say something for us in a different language and show us some translation?
Ja, lieber David, lieber Jason, also meine Muttersprache ist Deutsch. Insofern kann ich jetzt Deutsch mit euch sprechen und ihr könnt den englischen Untertitel lesen. Zur selben Zeit. Simultan.
Amazing. Did you get all that, David?
That's incredible. I did. That's absolutely incredible. So it's actually live translation, and it can pick up on. I mean, would it be able to handle different? I don't know, accents. So obviously, I have a Scottish accent, and usually these kind of systems struggle with my accent. Can it handle different accents and dialects?
Absolutely. So I'll tell you what. You go ahead and click on the translation icon there in the bottom right, and change your input language to, I think it's UK English. And I'll go ahead and throw up on the screen, I'll throw Spanish up on my screen. And so everyone watching this video will be able to see Spanish translation from your UK English accent. So,
Okay,
and
let's see.
then
Wow,
and then
there's
just
loads of
go.
different kinds of English.
That's right. That's right. And so once you change it, then
See,
go click on the podium and turn on presenter mode so that everyone can see your translation.
I will do. I'm seeing though that I've got options like Irish English, Jamaican English, Trinidad and Tobago, South African. So I'll go for United Kingdom. Um, go, and I'll just click on the podium as you suggest, and start presenting is the option that I'm given. And now I will speak in my normal language, and hopefully you should be seeing this in Spanish. Is that happening at your end?
It sure is. I'm seeing what I think is a pretty nice Spanish translation. Dirk, you'll have to let me know. Your Spanish is better than mine, which is 0.
So what I'm also seeing simultaneously is because my target language is English, I'm seeing the auto captions coming up on my screen in English. So anybody in that audience could be viewing, well, listening to me speak, but seeing captions in their own language. It's not restricted just to one per talk. It's one per audience member's choice.
Absolutely, absolutely.
That's
And
absolutely incredible.
this also allows us some another kind of cool outcome, which is that because the translation tool is transcribing, we do have the ability to essentially transcribe conversations within environments for environment owners that are trying to collect data on how to improve or how to make the experience a little bit better, or what kinds of things their audiences are looking for. So it gives us just kind of another layer of added value to businesses that want to use the metaverse.
Absolutely. No, that's great. Transcriptions and of meetings are really important and really useful. Okay, so in order to leave presentation mode, I guess I'll just click on the thing again.
Yep.
Forgot to do it the last minute. There we go.
By the
And
way, I changed from German to my Spanish translation, and like I see it, Spanish translation is helpful, super clean, absolutely correct.
fantastic. Shall we have one thing that we haven't done thus far is show. I know that you've got your camera on, but I don't have mine on. So how about I put my face camera on and we can talk about the benefits in terms of facial expressions and such.
Absolutely.
So I'll talk into that. So we've covered the ability to handle different languages, and which is amazing. Now, one of the things which you don't tend to get with avatars at the moment is the ability to pick up on people's facial expressions. That's one advantage that you can get from something like Zoom or Teams or Google Meets that you don't tend to get in virtual reality yet. Now, I have seen that you guys have a pretty elegant solution to this, so I'm going to see if I can make this work. Now, can you see my face now?
It's coming up now. Yeah. Hey, David.
Yeah. Hello. So this means that I can actually, well, you can see me, I can see you, and that way you can tell whether I'm not sure about what you're saying, or angry about what you're saying, or happy about what you're saying. And these are things which are very difficult to do in these kind of environments normally. And normally the technology required to try to mimic facial expressions as people are talking either pick up in tonality of their voice, which is easy to get wrong because different dialects and languages will have different tonal inflections, which may have nothing to do with the emotions that, for instance, UK English might have. So that can get it wrong quite a lot. And then the other ones require a degree of expression recognition, which is just not really, our systems aren't really capable of at this stage. So this is a really nice transition approach because you can really see me. So that's pretty cool.
I love it.
Awesome. So should we have a look around the space a little bit more, because I really do love the I love the kind of black and white vibe that you've got going on here.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I'll tell you what. Let's go check out. There's an office building nearby that I think is also pretty cool. Pretty cool showcase. If you want to follow me.
Absolutely. Can we just stop to point out this theme? Because I love this. I just love little touches like this. They just kind of breeze past this as if it's perfectly normal, but having steam coming up from the vents just as a, it's just little touches like that that are just so impressive. Sorry,
absolutely.
Go on again.
Actually, David, here, I'll show you this real quick. This might be interesting. Nice little, kind of like a little karaoke bar.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Very nice. Oh, yeah, let's have a seat. Order a gin. Get some coffee in. And I can see over here we've got a guitar sitting up against the wall, and as you say, there's a karaoke machine, so...
that's right.
Well, that's great.
Absolutely. This is a nice setting for like a private concert, you know, for someone, or maybe like a comedy club show or something like that too. You can get about 30 people in here pretty easy, and it doesn't feel too crowded. And you know, anyways, sorry, just wanted to show this before we get to the office.
And I wonder if you have the as a comedian, you might have the ability to mute specific hecklers, whilst at the same time being able to hear the broader kind of laughter.
Absolutely. I think that's perfect. And then, like you said, facial expressions are kind of a key thing too. So if we've got a comedy club going, we could probably put the actual webcam up on a screen, and that way the audience can actually see the comedian's facial expressions, and or if there's any hand motions that are part of the routine. So, anyways, let's move on to the office. Follow me.
Okay.
Come on in here. And this is one of my favorites because I love the tile flooring and the lighting you can see off the tile. And this building is about 3 stories, and it's full of different offices and conference rooms, and you know there's lots of those interactive screens throughout, and it's kind of a nice simulation of what like a co-working space could be, like a metaverse working space.
Fantastic. And this kind of thing really does come into its own when you have multiple people in the room, and you can actually have a meeting around this table, for instance. I see that you've got the screens in front of people. So yep. I'm assuming that these screens can be made to actually show the presentation, for instance, and they could all show the same thing.
Yep, they can show presentations, or they can also be like a link to a website if there's an external resource that everyone needs to reference while they're doing this, or it could be a note-taking type service that gets connected to it. So each of these screens can all interact and do things independently of one another. So it just depends on what the use case is, and you know. No,
they don't have to all have the same content on them, but they can be interacted with. So you conceivably you could use this as a classroom kind of an environment as well.
That's right.
Fantastic. And what do these red buttons over here do?
So the red buttons reset the screens. So if you see behind you on the screen, they've got the BizTech logo on there. And then if I hit this red button here, it will clear the screen. And now you can use it for something else.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Love it. Show me some other rooms.
Absolutely. Let's go. Should we go upstairs, or do you want to go to a different building?
Upstairs is fine. Yeah, let's do it.
Let's go upstairs. welcome, David. Got a nice little break room up here. Couches and metaverse coffee.
This reminds me very much of a similar breakout room in a physical building. We have Barclays have an Eco Labs building for co-working and so forth in Glasgow, and it's very similar looking to this. It's an odd feeling that I feel like I'm in a physical space or a physical place at the moment that I'm not really in.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Once again, I can seat myself down and I can have a coffee with people. And can you do little kind of audio breakout areas? So, areas that even if it's quite crowded, you could potentially put an audio wall up and have a private conversation in those sofas, for instance, over there. Is that possible?
So in this environment, we don't have any places like that. But we have this functionality in a couple of other environments, but we could add this functionality very easily to an environment like this. For instance, if we were to come over here, and if we were to come into an office like this, one of these like kind of private offices, we could shut these doors. And it would we could create kind of a sound barrier where we could have a totally private conversation. In fact, we can even black out the windows with that functionality so that it's totally private. Don't even know that who's in the room with you if you wanted to. So this is
I actually noticed when you went into this room and I was still outside that the audio broke off quite quickly. So this is a good opportunity to show that. I'll go outside and I'll keep talking.
Yeah.
Oops. Let's see if I can go the right way. And if I keep talking, you should cease to hear me. And then I'll go back in this way.
Oh yeah.
And hopefully my audio comes back.
Yeah, it got super quiet. I could still hear you, but just barely. Until you came back in the room.
Fantastic. That's great. It's a nice environment. It's quite a nice office space that you've got here, but there's still quite a lot of variety. Even between the different rooms.
Absolutely. I'll tell you what, I think there's one other place that I think you would like to see. So if you follow me, let's go there. Because I know that you do quite a bit of work in education, right? Oh, David? There we go.
I'm back.
yeah, you do quite a bit of work in education, correct?
I do, yes, absolutely.
Yeah, how about we go check out a school?
I got stuck on the stairs. Kirk was just showing me how to get myself unstuck.
All right, David, come here. This is actually a demo concept we did for a school. This is kind of the idea of if we were to branch into education, right? And so a teacher would be able to be at the front of the room. Teacher could have access, of course, to a whiteboard, but we could also bring in those screens that you saw in the expo hall. So we could create, we could share videos or webcams or whatever it might be. But Professor Sime, if you could please interact with this whiteboard and teach me something.
Okay, I'll just click on the whiteboard. So first of all, I can draw on it. So
technology. Look at that.
Good. Let's see if I can fit this on. This is actually my problem with whiteboards in general, is that I'm not very good at writing on them. But anyway, this is actually easier than a real one for me.
That's okay. So one of the nice things about this platform, David, is that it can be accessed from mobile devices as well, including iPads or tablets. So this whiteboard feature is quite fantastic on a touch screen, right? Especially like, let's say if you've got an iPad with like an Apple Pen or something like that, you can actually do quite well on a whiteboard. So now I have quite poor handwriting with a pen also, so maybe it wouldn't help them much. But but for certainly with for someone who has a bit more skill drawing, the touch screen works quite well for this kind of features and
A
functionality.
lot of students are going to be using touchscreens, one would imagine, with phones and tablets and so forth. So that's going to work really quite nicely. And I suspect you can probably do the same kind of things in terms of sharing your screen, sharing your video, and that kind of thing that you would be able to do in the office environments that we saw before.
Absolutely. So in this demo room, I don't have any of those screens you saw, but we can add those screens anywhere. So we would set up if we were working with an education institution, we would set up these rooms to fit their needs, of course. And even these clocks can be real-time clocks. So it's
That's
not
great.
but
And
it could be.
I suppose they could match the time zone of the person who's actually viewing it.
Exactly.
So, yeah. And the other advantage is that you can have, just like we were looking at in the comedy club, is the ability to selectively mute unruly students.
That's correct.
The ability to see everybody or have them move around. And I'm looking that you have a periodic table over here on the wall. This is an interesting one because the ability to place things like post-it notes and draw arrows between things on the likes of Jamboards and that kind of thing can actually be really useful for group activities. And certainly one of the advantages that we have in environments like this is the ability to get together and have group discussions and the kind of brainstorming that you just can't do in a Zoom environment or a Teams or a Google Meets environment as easily. To say, okay, half of the class, I want you to go out into the next room and I want you to look at this model and, draw some things on the whiteboard. These aren't things which are easy to do on normal video conferencing, but this kind of environment really lends itself to it.
Absolutely. And while that periodic table is not an interactive object, we can add interactive objects to an environment like this very easily. So, for instance, that periodic table could have an entire back end to itself where each element is interactive and has a corresponding video or audio or a 3D model of the atom, or who knows, right? Teachers are far more creative than I am. But really, I mean, anything that you can do in a game engine could be added to an environment like this for education purposes. So you can really create some cool things.
Does that mean conceivably you could place 360 videos in areas to allow students to go into contextually appropriate environments? For instance, the bottom of the Great Barrier Reef, into space, or watching a launch, or CERN Large Hadron Collider. Could you create kind of 360 bubbles that students could walk in to see stuff as if they were there?
Absolutely. Yeah, things like that really wouldn't be tremendously difficult to include in a place like this. The compatibility is there.
So any school trip to anywhere without any risk or any parent sign-offs required, any travel emissions or any risks really of
right.
putting kids at the bottom of the ocean or into space. So this really does lend itself to a lot more than a conventional education setting might lend itself to. You also mentioned that you could have you can have clocks, and those clocks could show the time zones according to the person who is looking at it.
That's right.
Does that mean that conceivably students could have different screens, that different tablets or screens that they could be looking at that might have different content?
That's correct. And by the way, that clock is accurate. It's just for California time, believe it or not.
Ah.
So yeah, so that's
Well, what?
but those could be changed. But yeah, the students. So those laptops that you saw in the office building, those laptops each of those laptops could be programmed with different functionality or different screens, and could be added to each one of these desks. Or in fact, there. Let's walk to the next room because this is just one concept. Let me show you one more. And so now we've got this, this room is obviously shaped a bit different. It's more, the tables are more collaboratively placed instead of the other one. We've got one of these interactive laptops that are in here, but these little laptops could be added to all of these desks, and could be each student could be doing their own thing, or we can create web layers within the web layer, so students can be accessing third-party websites from these laptops and would never have to actually leave the environment itself. Really, the sky's the limit, David.
That's great. I mean, it's making me think in terms of neurodiversity and different sensory abilities of different students. For example, we've got the ability to turn speech into text, no matter what the language. The ability to turn text into speech is a relatively straightforward plugin, but the ability to, for instance, have one student able to see something where entering or coloured backgrounds has been taken off, like for instance, if they have dyslexia, and it's going to be better for them to have sans serif, simpler text, or black and a white background left aligned, so that it's easier for them to view. And things which normally having to have a scribe or a hearing aid or a different coloured paper for you to be able to read it better. There's a bit of a stigma attached to that. And obviously there's expenses and so forth as well of employing people to do this and availability. Whereas this can do a lot of that automatically, whilst none of the other students in the environment really have to be aware of that at all. So it removes the stigma for the student who's using that functionality as well.
Absolutely, David.
Fantastic. Well, yeah. Okay, this is great. I really like these environments, and of course the environment can be anywhere. If you find that people learn better in an outdoor environment, in a grassy, I'm going to say grassy knoll. let's try another example.
Oh, yeah.
A nice meadow.
Yeah, a nice meadow, or they could be learning on a space station. It doesn't matter, right? I know that a lot of us, we tend to drift towards the familiar, David, when it comes to these kinds of things. But truthfully, in a space like this, it doesn't have to be, right? We could be learning in a room that's completely on fire.
Well, in the art world, they always talk about, you must learn to paint in the style of the old masters before developing your own style. And that's really just to prove that you can.
That's right.
And what these environments are good at is proving that you can create a realistic, recognizable environment before then jumping off into the art of the possible, into the, imagining things which previously we didn't have the flexibility or the capability to offer because we were constrained by physical world, but we're not now. So this is a really good starting point to show the capabilities, but now we're only limited by imagination, and also there's going to be advantages to these different environments. And again, different people will have different environments that they find more conducive to learning. So we may find that the environments are different according to the individuals in that space.
I completely agree, David. Now let's. I want to show you one more thing here in this world that I think you might find interesting, and then I think we might be able to wrap up. But here, go ahead and follow me.
Right up.
There you go, David. Let's go to the movies.
Yay! I had a hard day at work and then a hard day at school, so now we're going to go and catch a movie.
Now you
Is
mentioned
Avatar on? I haven't seen it yet.
Oh yeah. Now. Earlier we talked about objects with interactivity, right? So here we've got these. We've got this soda machine.
Huh?
You know, so it actually does have interactivity. Do you see it?
See that?
So this is just an example, right? But just kind of a silly thing. But we actually can make objects interactive. All we need to know is, what do you want it to do, right? And it's a game engine. We can do anything. But anyways, here, come over here. Let's click on this movie theater door.
I was just enjoying the popcorn fountain, the popcorn machine, just spitting out popcorn over there as well. It's a nice touch.
It's true. We talked to someone the other day that's doing smells in the metaverse as like a wearable to try and really take the immersion to the next level. I would love to be able to come here and have the smell of popcorn, that fresh popcorn.
Oh yeah!
Oh my gosh, that would just.
Popcorn and hot dogs, absolutely.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that would be really conducive.
So David, go ahead and click on these doors. Just hover over with your touchpad until you see the mouse icon, and then click on it.
Okay. Very much. I like it.
Come enjoy a movie with me, David.
Oh, I love it. Hey, what are we going to watch?
Whatever's on. This is.
This is great. I love it. I love the style of the environment as well. So this would lend itself really well to, like we were talking about, large auditoriums where you're not necessarily going to require to communicate with each other because you're going to want everybody talking to each other in the cinema environment, which means that the technical limitations between having unlimited numbers of people in the audience are stripped away, because it's usually restricted more by the voice and the VoIP, voice over internet protocol, seems to be the limiting factor in these kind of environments. Whereas here, it's not an issue because you don't want everybody talking to each other at the same time.
That's right. In fact, David, I'm trying to watch the movie. If you could please keep it.
Oh, sorry, I do apologise. I'm just going to get my rustly bag out and then start.
There you go.
Cans.
Hey, now it really feels like a movie. All right. Let's go ahead and head out so we can hear each other a little better. Just the same way we came in.
Right on. That's a really nice teleport effect.
Yeah. The feature that we just looked at, that is just that's hooked up to a live streaming service online, just like a kind of an old movies service. It just streams movies all day long, movies and shows.
Wow.
And so when you come into this environment at different times of the day, it'll be playing something completely different. So now this is obviously the aesthetic is a movie theater, but this could be an auditorium, or it could be a stage, like a live stage or something like that. But the point is for people or companies or even cities that have like a live streaming service, right, where they're constantly showing something throughout the day, they can have that streaming live into an environment like this. We're talking to someone right now in the entertainment industry who has their own streaming service, and they have this idea. They want to have that streaming service play into a space like this to show all of the movies that they've directed or starred in, or or podcasts that they've done, things like that. So it's a pretty neat feature.
I love the idea of having a TEDx building in any given city so that you can have your local TED Talk in a constant stream as well.
That'd be
I love the
cool.
cinema, wouldn't it? And I love the what you've already got going on here, though, the constant stream of different videos. So it's less kind of choosing exactly what you want and more coming in at a given time and just seeing what's on, which is there's a beauty to that which I think have lost with the on-demand approach, because we end up just seeing things that we already know we want to watch rather than accidentally stumbling across hidden gems, which this might give us the opportunity to do again.
Absolutely. And I love that idea of a constantly streaming TEDx or TED Talk area. That would be pretty cool. I like that a lot. So, but yeah,
absolutely. Of course, it wouldn't be properly cool until I've done a TED Talk. So, just hope that the TED, people are out there listening. But anyway, just dropping that in there. So, I keep being drawn to this sweetie counter, which is what generally I am drawn to in the real cinema. But it just looks so real. I love it.
It does, right? Now, so all you need now is a 3D printer that prints with sugar, and we'll do like a buying experience here. 3D printed treats from the metaverse.
A sugar-based 3D printer does not sound out with the realms of possibility. I love that idea. But yes,
someone's thought of it. Someone's thought of it and is working on it for certainly.
NFT popcorn delivery. I mean, this is the thing that with home deliveries and so forth, to be able to connect that up so that somebody does arrive before your movie night with your hot dogs and your popcorn and your drinks. It's not out with the realms of possibility. I love it anyway. This is great. Well, anyway, that's amazing. I mean, really, genuinely, you've got such a variety of environments now, and it really does show a lot more of what's possible and what these systems are capable of than I've actually seen in any other single environment that I've been to. They tend to either focus on the classroom or they focus on the auditorium or something like that. But this has really got something for everybody. But the sense of realism, I think, is key here. Because like we were saying earlier, to be able to show, yes, if you want it, if you want real, if you want the recreation of the real, you can have it to, whatever level of realism you require. And then allow people to go mad with their imaginations and go, okay, well, I would like to be on a cloud, or I would like our environment to take place in the top of a moving train. All of this is possible, or an alien planet that's completely unrecognizable to any environment that we've ever been to again. No reason why not. So I'm really looking for. It's a bit like when YouTube first started. Nobody really knew or could have predicted the kind of content that was going to end up going out there and the kind of communities that would end up being driven by these shared appreciations and shared types of content. And now we've got all this stuff that previously, normal television or syndicated news channels or whatever would never have done because it wasn't appealing to the general public, or it was out with their imagination as producers or broadcasters. And now that it really is opening up reality to a kind of a democratization that the genuine reality never allowed for before. So I'm really quite excited.
It's true. When the creators of YouTube launched YouTube, I don't think any of them had in mind, I think that someday kids are going to watch recordings of other kids playing video games on this platform.
Or countless hours of cat videos.
I don't know. Maybe cat videos might have been on the list. I don't know, but you never know.
Things like TED Talks and documentaries about manga and things that there's enough appeal for people to do it to for themselves, but there's not enough appeal for a large broadcast medium prior to the likes of Netflix to really go down that route. But now we're in a situation where you can create representations of physical environments in a way that anybody could create anything. So it's all very exciting, and I really like this demonstration. It's going to take us forever to edit this down. We're probably going to need to turn it into short sections covering different areas, but I think we've got all the content, all the footage that we need. It's just a question of finding it and splitting it down into the shorter sections that'll grab people's attention, I think.
Oh yeah, no, this was fantastic. In fact, what's funny, David? Dirk and I had a vision. Like you were on one of our Biz Talks before, right? When we did it in the little Biz Talk studio. But Dirk and I thought to ourselves, you know what? That's actually not good enough either. We want to do podcasts like this where we're walking around and doing stuff. And you and I just did one.
Yeah.
We just did it.
Exactly.
We just
Yeah.
did it.